I'm here. I'm here.
Well,
Hello,
Anna, to
everybody.
our
One day we
Tuesday,
might be in the same room. We'll be able to show up together at exactly the same time.
one day it shall work. One day it shall work. Our beautiful Tuesday lives, Hannah, we always have so much to say in our short time. We give ourselves 20 minutes. It's often 30.
Yeah. We love these.
There's a lot to say about money, right? And money blocks and limiting beliefs are huge. I mean, this is why we do this work, because
massive, massive. And do you know what? Actually, yesterday I shared on my own Instagram, because I have my own other work that I do, and then I have this work that I do the money, and I wanted to share a post sort of combining the two and talking about both. And as I was writing it, I shared it on my story. I could feel almost like a bit of a tightness because I was like, oh my goodness, there's people who follow me because they want to hear me talk about creating a positive relationship with yourself and self-compassion and sparking joy, and that's what they're used to. And when I'm sharing, well, I also help people create a positive relationship with money. And I asked them the question, like, does reading this about me change the way you feel about me now? Like, because it's such an awareness of it's such a taboo subject. That's what I wrote. And I feel like so many people don't want to talk about wanting more money unless it's like, oh, well, I'm waiting to win the lotto. So everybody will say that. That's like acceptable. It's acceptable to say, oh, I'm doing the lotto and I'm hanging out and I'm waiting until I win my millions. And it's like, if it comes in that, but other than to say you want to win the lotto, how many people are actually saying, I'm feeling really comfortable saying, well, I want more money, or I want to support other people to have more money and openly, because and I asked people, like, how do you feel about money? Do you feel like it's good or it's bad, or are you worried that it's always going to run out? So it's kind of like it linked in without I wasn't even thinking of it linking into today's conversation, but it did. But it felt really freeing for me, actually, to just sort of, like, I felt like I was coming out in a way, sharing this part of myself with people who, maybe don't really know, aren't really aware of that. And feeling that it's a touchy subject for a lot of people.
And I think, well, sharing your story is such a, it's how we all learn. It's how we've learned for centuries, is through stories. But what you said kind of relates to what we were talking about earlier off camera and leading into one of those first questions, is that fantasy of winning the lottery, right? Oh, when I'm rich, when I win the lottery, when that money comes in. But how is that money? Well, not so much the how, because I don't like to go into the thinking part of it, but what actions, what work are you doing in order to create that flow of money in your life? How are you letting go of these limiting beliefs and blocks? So what work are you putting into money? Literally into creating your relationship and to change your situation.
And also into how you're going to be when you receive that money, because we all know and have heard about so many examples of lottery winners who win their money and in a very, very short amount of time go back to having no money again. But there's also so many cases of people who reach enormous wealth, get bankrupt, and within a year are enormously wealthy again. Like their ability to receive the money is. So it's because I think that was a huge thing for me, because I also lived a lot of my life, and every now and then I still think, I won't mind the lotto. I'd be fine. Like, so I'm like, oh, that would just make it easier. But I lived a lot of the time doing my lottery, waiting for it to come. But when I look now and I think, well, actually, if the money had arrived to me then, because I had done none of the foundational work, because I hadn't worked with any of my limiting beliefs around money or my blocks around money and receiving and it would have not been a good thing in my life. It would have gone very quickly, or I would have, so it's like, we need to do that foundational work in order to be able to receive more. Like, and
and I think also what you said there, that's that cycle. If you make money, lose money, lose some money. It's so what's limiting that keeps you in that cycle of enough, never enough, enough, never enough. Right? Again, all limiting beliefs that we have that create our reality.
Yeah, Exactly, like and limiting that allow you to reach a certain level and make a certain amount, but not any more than that. Like there's a cap that you feel comfortable at, that you're sort of allowed to have, and then not going beyond that. Yeah. So, and
so our first question was, I feel more comfortable with my 100K self and the energy of that than the 30K self. So I think we've kind of touched on this, but yeah, and that was from Sola. Thank you, Sola.
Yes, thank you, Sola. Yeah, and I think that can be part, and it's a funny one, isn't it? Because when it comes to manifesting, we hear and we say, like, dream as big as you want. Like, don't put your dreams into a small box. But and so it's important, if you want to feel and tune into the 100K you, the 200K you, the 500K you, do it. But it's that action piece, isn't it? So because it's manifesting and bringing the things into our reality, we also have to take action. It's not just about feeling it, we have to take action. And if the gap is too big, if you're at 5K months and you can't see how to embody and take the action of the 30K, then it's unlikely that you're gonna be taking it for the 100K. Yeah.
I mean, because okay, so let's tap into it right now. 100K energy.
Feel that 100K. It feels yummy, right? Exciting. Oh, delicious. Like, yes, please. Who doesn't want 100K? Yes. I'll have that. Absolutely. Amazing. Then we go to our 30K self. Still exciting, right? If you tap and drop out of your head into your heart so that you can really feel this with us. Feel your 30K self. Still exciting, but as exciting as that 100K, right? Let us know in the comments for you what you feel. And then if you drop down to your 5K self. So for some of you, you may be at 5K a month mark. Some of you, maybe not. Does it feel as exciting as those other two? Perhaps not. But it's a step in the energy of where you're wanting to go, right?
Yeah.
So the 5K for me feels like a grounding, like a solid foundation. There we go.
Yeah, that's exactly what's just been shared here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're on the same page. It really grounds you into the now, okay, yes, I can do that. The other two feel almost whimsical, almost fantasy-like. Like, oh, it would be nice, but it's never really gonna happen. But when we start to take the action, create the relationship with money, and do all of this work, relief and relieve the limiting belief. And suddenly you're at 10K months. And then you're at the 30K and you're like, oh, wow, I'm actually doing this.
Yeah.
But if you're not in the flow, how do you think you're going to get from a 5K month to a 100K month?
Yeah, and it's fun because when I tune into the 5K, what I kept getting a feeling, and sometimes I get the feelings, it's like I feel things that are other people's feelings. They're not necessarily my feelings, but I feel that it's that feeling of like, oh yeah, the 5K, it feels grounded, but it also feels like it's because it's closer and it feels more like it's this thing that's more tangible. It's that like link to kind of like, oh, but there's action I have to take to do that. Maybe action that I'm putting off because I'm afraid, like maybe I need to put my price, maybe somebody needs to put their prices up or share a new offering on Instagram and bring more clients in, because that's it's a clear, and without getting caught up in the how, but it is a natural thing that's going to bring, the opportunities. And then you go into the limiting beliefs that are connected to that, to putting up your prices for your client, so it almost, and it brought in a little bit of a sense of overwhelm. Whereas the 100K just felt like, oh, lovely. Yeah, I'm just going to bask in my 100K lifestyle and write down all the things I'm going to do with it, which I also highly recommend because it will open up the energy for you. But it's that feeling of, oh, the 5K is more, it's closer connected to the limiting beliefs almost. because it's connected to the things that we actually can do to do that. You know, and I had limiting beliefs around managing my money. You know, I had limiting beliefs about charging and people saying no to, like, being rejected because I've charged too much. So massively undercharging so that people would sign up rather than charging what I felt I was worth. You know, it's so interesting, isn't it? Just how many blocks and limiting beliefs we have without even realizing.
Yeah.
But thank you for that question, Sola, because I think we've done, and again, it's something that we would love to talk about for, you know, for
ages.
There's a comment here I just want to share. Oh, if I can. I feel that as we go higher, there isn't a connection between the higher and lower chakras. I think the heart is the crossing and it needs to be trust. The pure love and trust needs to be there. Beautiful. Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
There was something that I wanted to say about going higher. And it's gone out my head. Obviously not now.
And the thing is, it is a journey. And as we see with everybody who's doing all the different programs that you can do, whether it's coming to the wealth state with myself and Hayley, which is like the foundational work that everybody needs to keep connecting with, or moving up through into the Magnificent Money Academy, and then the programs like Extraordinary Power. There's so many different programs you can expand into, and the work continues, because as we expand, we notice limiting beliefs and blocks around our own expansion. So the foundations are so important, aren't they? Like, it's so important to really get in tune with how you feel about money, what's in the way of you being able to even say you want to have more. Like, if it feels uncomfortable to say you want to have more, if it feels uncomfortable to listen to us talking about this, like, it's really worth looking with such curiosity at that, at what's behind it. Like, because one of the questions was, can you give some examples of blocks and limiting beliefs around money? And well, there's so many, isn't there? There's so many.
So many. So yeah, number one, you have to work hard for your money, right? You have to put in the 12 to 15 hour days, and do more to make more. And we've been told this over and over and over again. So it's true.
Yeah. I mean, I had a relative who definitely always made that very clear, that money it was fine to have money, but you have to work hard for it, and would speak very skeptically about people. I don't know where they got their money from, or they've gone on 2 holidays, but he doesn't seem to do any work. Like, very much a tone of, and we pick up these things when we're growing up. We hear these things. The fear of money running out is a limiting belief and a block around money, and can continue no matter how much money you have, unless you address the limiting. Like, the fear of money running out isn't limited to people who don't have a lot of money. People with lots of money can have a fear of money running out, fear of money being taken, fear of money being bad, fear of money, bad things happening with money. People do bad things for money, and if you have money, bad things will happen to you, or you will be bad. There's so many, which is, and it's such a amazing journey, isn't it? I also showed that, that's what I love about it, because I feel that when we look closer at the way we feel about and treat money, it gives us a real insight into the way we feel about and treat ourselves. It's it's 15:15. I love that. Just looked at the time.
We have 11 people watching us.
Oh wow. Thank you so much for being
here. Is the comment? Yes, people with money are bad,
as you said. Rich people that have money are nasty. All of these beautiful things. And it came back to me what I wanted to say earlier now while you were talking. People think that we say you don't have to work hard for your money, but you do need to be taking the action to be moving the energy forward. And a lot of people get confused with, I can sit back and meditate and the money is going to come to me. No, that's not how it works. Yes, you are creating space by being in meditation, by expanding your awareness and your energy. You are creating space for money flows and for the creativity to bubble up inside of you, to then take the action to get that flow of money coming in. So it's not about being in the fantasy of, oh, I get just to be zen and sit in the energy.
No, it doesn't work
like that.
No, we don't have to be out hustling and working 80 hours a week in order to have money, or in order to feel like we deserve the money that we have. But there is action that needs to be taken, and and that includes the action of the like working on your limiting beliefs. Like, it's a self-development journey, it's a personal development journey, it's a healing journey. Like, you can't but expand and witness a positive impact from it, but it does take some discomfort sometimes, not always, but it's as with anything, like, when we go within and look at this stuff, which is why we always say that everybody who does this is so courageous.
So courageous.
And
with your limiting
beliefs.
Limiting beliefs and money blocks often are passed on to us. Like I said at the beginning, we learn through our stories. So you're learning from others, right? We're learning from our parents, carers, teachers, etc., the world. But are they your limiting beliefs? And this is where something like the Wealth Date that we host once a month, you really get to sit with your stuff and money. Because that's the thing. Your stuff and my stuff may be completely different because of my background, of where I was brought up, my parents, etc., right? So my beliefs are different to yours. They may be similar in some ways, but really sitting with money and getting clear on what your limiting beliefs are, and how we can begin to unravel those and let them go.
And that's just lovely. And relearn, isn't it? It's like relearning. If I look at my parents, much love to them, but like money, almost, it's like whenever they would have money, the urgency in which they would have to get rid of it is, and it is, and to always return to the cycle of debt and stress energy around money, just always, and linked to many things. But in my dad particularly, I could say with his own self-value, not the difficulty of making a decision with money or spending money, but so he would give it to my mother, who would manage to get rid, and it's like so much. I lived that way for so long, and no blame to them. It's just but why else would I have? Because that's what I saw, and that's what I knew. I never knew any other way. I didn't know my truth around money. I didn't know that money could be a joyful thing, or it could be different. And it's like, that's why all this work, it's so lovely to relearn, and you get back in touch with yourself and what's really yours. I went to buy something the other day, and I actually felt this panic. I thought, this is, and I really realized I've been thinking about my dad a lot, and I realized it's like, no, that's the panic he gets, the fear of making the wrong decision, of wasting the money. And I thought, no, that's not mine.
And I just had
a beautiful idea. If you have children, I'm going to do this with mine now. If you have children,
sit with them at the table and do this little exercise. Ask them to write down what their limiting beliefs are with money, because they will reflect back to you what yours are. And that's very, I just got goosebumps. What a beautiful way to, we had a question last week about how to talk to money, how to talk about money with children.
I was just thinking about that, on the podcast.
A beautiful way of bringing them
into the conversation
and allowing them and yourself to see where those limiting beliefs are and how you can shift and change them now for them, so that their journey with money gets to be a lot more ease and joy.
That's gorgeous. And I think it's so important. And actually, we ultimately, any work that we do, we should ultimately do for ourselves. But I know from my own personal experience, sometimes if you've got children, it's kind of the extra kick and nudge to, and I know with me, with my relationship with myself, in the beginning, I tried to change that. I changed it for my children, and then it became about doing it for me. But they were the biggest incentive. It was like, okay, we are the mirror to our children. And it's really that's why sometimes that's the extra motivation to be like, okay, well, I haven't been signing up to the Wealth Date because I'm busy or I'm overwhelmed, but it's like, well, if you improve your relationship with money, your children's relationship with money is going to improve. Like, you have that power. And what a gift to share.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, another 21 minutes gone by. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, do join, leave Wealth Date in the comment when we share this up on Instagram, and we'll send you the link to sign up for the Wealth Date. The next one is next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. UK time. We'll actually be hosting it from Lisbon, which is super exciting because we're there for a retreat. But yeah, it will be amazing. And any questions you have about it, ask us, and we'll be back next week again for our regular weekly live too. But yeah, we'd love to see you on the Wealth Date next week.
Absolutely. And if you have
any other questions about money, please feel free to leave them in the
and we will happily answer them for you every Tuesday, 3 p.m. We are live. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.